Hi everyone, my name is Courtney. I am Fiber Fox Studios. Welcome to another episode of Courtney Has Flipped a Pattern Upside Down, and we are going to learn that today in this video. What you're seeing here in front of you is the pattern that we are going to be learning in today's tutorial, but I am also showing you the other patterns that are included in this chart set so you understand what is going on for those of you who do purchase the chart sets. So in your chart set, you will see chart 1, which is, or one of the charts, which is the upright heart. You will also see the upside down version of it. And then, of course, you will see the staggered heart, which I showed you guys, I believe, a month and a half ago now. And that was shown in one of my Tales from the Tiny House. I was working on a burp cloth. I have made a kitchen towel now with that same pattern and same colorways, but I am using the staggered version of this chart from the chart set, and there is an upside down version of the same one in the chart set as well. The reason we're doing these upside downs, and you're seeing several of those come out in a row, is because we can use these for top-down projects, like the sweater that I'm going to be doing a full tutorial on. For those of you who do not want to make a top-down garment, you can still use an upside-down pattern in a few ways. One being, of course, you can make a border with it. The other way that you can use this pattern is when making a scarf or shawl. When you are working and you begin working your piece, you would work with the upright version of the design, and then midway at the halfway point, you will then switch over to the upside down version so that when it is worn, the parts that fall down around towards the front of our body, those will have hearts that are facing in the correct direction when someone is looking at you. So hopefully that makes sense and you realize how this can be useful to something you would like to work on. We are going to jump down in that description for helpful videos, including how to speed up or slow me down. And I have a lot of information videos that have been coming out. Those are all linked down below in that description. And we're going to jump into this tutorial now and get started. To begin, you will select your color A, and we are going to chain in the pattern's multiple of 10 over and over until you've reached your desired size. And if you are going to work in the round, you are just going to simply slip stitch to that first chain that you made to form a ring, and then you will begin working the repeats given in this video in that same stitch that we slip stitch into. For those of us who are going to be working flat, which is what I'm going to be doing, we are going to add 4 more chains to the end of our chain count. We are now going to begin row number 1, and we do so by skipping the very first stitch from our hook and working here into that second stitch. We are going to do our traditional single crochet into this stitch, and all that means is we're going to go into the complete stitch under the V. So we grab our yarn and pull up our loop, and then grab and pull through 2 and form that traditional single crochet. Now we are going to begin our repeat for row 1, and that repeat is very simple. We are going to be working a back loop only single crochet in all of our stitches except for the last stitch. And a back loop only single crochet just means that we're picking up one side of the stitch. From there, we single crochet just like normal. So you are going to work on down your row, and you will meet up with me at the end of your row when you have just one stitch left, and we will join back up together so that I can show you how to work all of your row ends. But you will continue on down, placing that back loop only single crochet, 1 in every single stitch. We are now here at the end of the row. There is 1 stitch left. Our very last stitch of every single row will always be worked as a traditional single crochet when we are working flat. So again, all that means is I'm going into the complete stitch under the V. And I single crochet like normal from there. Since this is overlay mosaic, we are going to be binding off when working flat on every row. So to bind off, I recommend that you chain up 2 And then you will clip your yarn and form a little knot here at the row end. So after clipping our yarn, we're just going to pull our hook on out, and that will leave us with these 2 chains right here at the end of the row. And you're going to place your thumb and index right above those 2 chains, and then you're going to grab the tail and pull with your fingers from your other hand, pulling up on your tail and sliding your fingers down, pushing those 2 little chains into that little knot. Now your row will not come undone. So we're going to move on to row 2, and to do so, we just return back to the start of our work. We do not turn our work when working overlay mosaic. So we are going to identify the very first stitch in the row, and you can do that by finding the very first full V that you see when you're looking at the top of your stitches. The other thing you can do is you can take your finger and push down on this little side bump. That is our turning chain from row 1. The turning chain will slide down out of your way, but your first stitch in the row will not move. So make sure you are not working into that side bump because you will throw your stitch count off. So now we just go into the complete stitch again, and this is how you will be joining on your yarn at the start of every single row. So we go into our very first stitch, and now you are going to grab color B and join that on. To join on, I just loop my yarn over or lay my yarn, I should say, over the end of my hook. So just lay it over, grabbing a loop, leaving a nice decent sized tail. And then we pull up our loop. And now I grab my tail and working yarn and chain 1. And then we go back down into that first stitch again and finish out our single crochet like normal. At this point, you can let your tail fall down out of your way. Or if you're going to be making something and you are going to be doing the knotted bind off on your tails, you could also just lay it over your row and begin working over that tail some. It's really up to you. Now we're going to begin row number 2's repeat. And it's very simple. We're just going to work a back loop only single crochet in all of our stitches except for that last stitch of the row. So we go into that back loop and then we single crochet like normal from there. For the rest of the tutorial, I will be referring to these as single crochets, and you will know that when you're working your repeat stitches, all of your single crochets in the repeat are always worked back loop only. That's what makes it mosaic. Keep working down your row. Do your traditional single crochet in the very last stitch of the row. And meet up with me when you're ready for row number 3. Row 3 begins now, and we are working in color A. Our repeat for row number 3 begins with 2 double crochets, and I'll show you how you will be working all of your double crochets for this entire project. You are going to wrap your yarn like normal, but then we identify our very next stitch and we slide directly down, picking up this front loop that we've left by doing back loop only single crochets. From here, we just grab and pull up a loop, and then we grab and pull through 2, grab and pull through 2, just like normal for a double crochet. So that is how you will be working all of your double crochets. Our repeat starts with 2 of these, so we're going to work a second one now. And again, identify the very next stitch, slide directly down, picking up that front loop, and then we double crochet from here like normal. Now, before we move on to do our single crochets in the repeat, I just want to point out that if at any time you aren't sure where your very next stitch is, after you've worked some double crochets, you can always just fold your work back, and you will see that on the previous row, your double crochets cover up those stitches. So 2 double crochets will cover up 2 stitches. When we put them back in place, we can easily tell that our next stitch is right here. Our repeat continues with 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Now we work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and we will end our repeat by working 1 double crochet here in the very next stitch. So that ends our repeat. Let's recap what we have done. Our repeat for row number 3 began with 2 double crochets, 2 single crochets, 3 double crochets, 2 single crochets, and then we end with 1 double crochet. So if you are not familiar with mosaic crochet, since we have a multiple of 10 that we chain for our pattern, our repeat stitches, if you were to count all of these stitches in this repeat, there are 10 of them. So you want to make sure when you're writing down the pattern to keep working that you are writing it down correctly. And then you want to make sure when you begin to work again that you do not accidentally add in any extra stitches. That's typically where the pattern ends and begins. That is typically where you will make a mistake. So I'm going to show you how to continue to work on down your row. And of course, if you are not new here, you know to jump down in that description for the row start times. So now we are going to begin our repeat over, and we begin with 2 double crochets. Here's 1. And number 2. Two single crochets, 1, 2, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. Two single crochets, 1, 2, and we end our repeat with 1 double crochet. So as you can see, this is what your work will look like as you move on down your row. And now that we are at the row end, I will show you how to work all of your row ends. At the end of every single row, you will see that you have 2 stitches left. And to work these stitches, we are going to restart our repeat for 1 stitch. And then of course we do our traditional single crochet in the last stitch of the row. So for this pattern, our repeat starts with a double crochet. So that is what we'll be working here in the second to last stitch of the row. So whatever your repeat starts with, that is the stitch that you will be working in the second to last stitch at the end of your row. So here we're going to do our double crochet. And then traditional single crochet, going into the complete stitch under the V here in this last stitch. And then of course we bind off by chaining up 2, clipping that yarn and cinching that down. So we will now move on to row number 4. Row 4 begins now, and we are working in color B. Our repeat for row number 4 begins with 2 single crochets, 1, 2, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 2 double crochets, 1, 2. We end the repeat with 1 single crochet. So let's recap what we have done. The repeat began with 2 single crochets, 2 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 2 double crochets, 1 single crochet, ends the repeat. So we're going to continue to work that exact set of stitches, and then you will meet up with me when you're ready for row number 5. Remember, at the end of the row, you will have 2 stitches left. You will restart your repeat for the second to last stitch, and then you will traditional single crochet in the very last stitch of the row. Row 5 begins now, and we are working in color A. Our repeat for row number 5 begins with 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 double crochet, and we end with 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap it. Very simple one. Our repeat for row 5 began with 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets. So obviously, all you're working down your row, 1 double, 4 singles, and you will get this row correct. And meet up with me when you're ready for row number 6. Row 6 begins now, and we are working in color B. Our repeat for row number 6 begins with 1 single crochet, 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 single crochet, and we end the repeat with 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and number 4. So let's recap it. Row number 6, repeat. 1 single crochet, 4 double crochets, 1 single crochet, 4 double crochets. So obviously another row where we're just doing part of the repeat over and over. You can work 1 single, 4 doubles over and over all the way down your row for your cheater method, and your row will come out perfectly. So we will meet up when you are ready for row number 7. Row 7 begins now, and we are working in color A. Our repeat for row number 7 begins with 1 double crochet, and we work 9 single crochets to end that repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Repeat begins 1 double, ends with 9 singles. So very easy one for the rest of your row. You'll be able to work that exact set and meet up with me for row number 8. Row number 8 begins now, and we are working in color B. Our repeat for row number 8 begins with 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we end our repeat with 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. So now let's recap it. Row number 8's repeat began with 3 single crochets, 5 double crochets, and we end with 2 single crochets. So you're going to continue to work that exact set and meet up with me when you're ready for row number 9. Row number 9 begins now, and we are working in color A. Our repeat for row number 9 begins with 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 double crochets will end our repeat. 1 and number 2. So let's recap. Row number 9's repeat began with 3 double crochets, 5 single crochets, and we end with 2 double crochets. So you will continue to work that set. Meet up with me for row number 10. Row number 10 begins now, and we are working in color B. Our repeat for row number 10 begins with 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets ends that repeat. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's recap it. Row number 10's repeat began with 5 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and then we end with 4 single crochets. So you are going to keep working that exact set and meet up with me for our final row, which is number 11. Row number 11 begins now, and we are working in color A. Our repeat for row number 11 begins with 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 single crochet, and 4 double crochets ends our repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's recap. Row number 11's repeat, 5 double crochets, 1 single crochet, 4 double crochets. So you will continue to work that exact set, and then we will meet up one final time so I can talk about how you can grow your project and what you need to do to end your project. From here, you will be able to rewind in this video back to row 2, and you will repeat rows 2 through 11 to grow your project. After you've completed row 11 for the final time, I recommend that you do not clip your yarn and bind off, but instead I recommend that you go back and do a slip stitch or single crochet row in color A right here up at the top of your project to kind of thicken up that final line so that it better matches with how our project began. But that's just a recommendation. You, of course, do not have to do that. Thank you, as always, for watching and watching all the way to the end. I hope that you have enjoyed this particular tutorial and will use it for some really cool top-down projects or border projects on your next crochet project. Until we meet again, thank you, and bye for now.